For the last 6 weeks, I have been walking 15,000 steps a day. Here's my proof. And the thing we have to remember, first of all, when counting these, is I have been using a watch. It's not going to be the most accurate thing. You could use your phone. Again, I don't know how accurate that is either. However, there is a chance that this can inflate the numbers by up to 25%. Although my watch says that I've been walking 15,000 steps, it could be a little bit less. Take that with a grain of salt. But according to my watch, I have been walking an average of 15,000 steps every single day. Today, I am already at 13,500. And honestly, it's changed my life. I have really come to love walking. And honestly, I had a pretty sedentary lifestyle because of the fact that I work from home. So this has been a product of the last few years with COVID and becoming a lot more sedentary. Before COVID and slightly during COVID, I worked at a grocery store. And so my steps were probably always around 10,000, even when I didn't mean for them to be. And because I was always pretty athletic in school, growing up, I played very competitive sports all throughout. And so I've always had a pretty active lifestyle. So with the last few years and having COVID and sort of having other personal things happen in my life, I have become a little bit more sedentary. And as a result, I've gained a lot of weight. I'm also getting married in July, so I just want to feel like myself again. I have my engagement photos that I did last year, and honestly, it kind of breaks my heart to look at them. And so at this point, I don't want my wedding photos to have that same effect on me that my engagement photos do. Obviously, weight isn't the only thing. There are so many benefits to increasing your steps every single day. So the thing that you do have to realize though is that if you're using walking, which is amazing for losing fat and weight loss, you're not likely going to just be able to lose weight based off of increasing your steps. You need to be in a calorie deficit. And so nutrition and food is so important, and it makes it so much easier to be able to lose weight. Increasing your movement can put you in a calorie deficit, but it's going to make it so much harder when instead it could be used as an accessory to being in a calorie deficit. So in order to find your calorie deficit when it comes to like calories you should be eating a day in order to maintain your weight, I know everybody always says it, but I always use TDEE, calculator.net, and that is how you are going to find out your total daily energy expenditure. And what that means is how many calories your body burns a day based off of your activity level and what your body needs to sustain it. So I'm not gonna lie, I found it kind of hard because I'm walking 15,000 steps a day. I am going to the gym a few times a week as well, but I still was not completely sure what my exercise level was going to be. Like, not always a clear answer. And so to sort of fix that problem of trying to figure out what my calorie deficit should be is I took what I wanted my goal weight to be and took the sedentary maintenance calories of that, and that is what my calorie deficit is going to be. It might be a little bit confusing, but that was the easiest way for me to process it. So I'll show you exactly what I did. So I am 5'7", I'm 28 years old, and at my current weight, I am 178 pounds. And so if I put that in, it gives me one number. But if I put in that I want to weigh 150 pounds, which is pretty much my goal weight right now, I feel like that's a pretty achievable goal weight while still like able to maintain my lifestyle, then that is what I'm going to use as my calorie deficit. Anyways, let's get back into the steps. So 15,000 steps a day was sort of what I came up with because everyone talks about 10,000 steps a day, and that is absolutely great. I have a bit of a time crunch because I want to feel good before my wedding. And so I wanted to increase the amount of steps I was taking because that increases my movement and the amount of calories I'm burning in a more substantial way. So the thing about 15,000 steps is after this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that up. So I'm going to be doing it I've been doing it for 6 weeks. I'm going to continue to do it up until my wedding. So that basically gives me 3 months of walking 15,000 steps to see what that does to my body. So we are going to look at the before and afters of what 6 weeks did, and then I'll do another updated video after I've done it for 3 months. So now I actually have been working on increasing my steps even more because is a variation of using a watch to track my steps, and I don't know if I'm actually hitting that 15,000 steps. And I would rather do more steps than hit my 15,000 than not hit the 15,000, if that makes sense. So I have been doing what I think is around 15,000, could be 12, 13,000. I don't know for sure. But now I'm going to start aiming for 20,000 so that even if it's off by 5,000 steps, which would be a lot and kind of crazy, and I don't know if it's off by that much, but at least I'm going to be hitting that 15,000 steps. And walking is definitely the easiest way to incorporate movement. You should be trying to incorporate walks throughout your day and just move your body, because being sedentary is so bad for your health. And I can't believe how quickly, I guess it wasn't that quickly, but like the last year and a half, I've gained like 40 pounds, and I don't like that. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. But this last 6 weeks have really changed the way that I look and feel about my body. So in my before and after pictures, the first picture, I am 190 pounds, and I had just come back from vacation this day. And then in this picture, I'm 178 pounds. So I've lost 12 pounds over the 6 weeks, which is about 2 pounds a week. And this being like the beginning of my weight loss journey, it's pretty typical to lose the first 10-ish pounds pretty easily. After this, I do think I'll probably be in the more conservative range of like 6 pounds a month, hopefully even more if I can continue to increase my movement. But how I incorporate walking 15,000 steps a day into my workday, I am pretty lucky. I work from home, and not only that, I'm self-employed. So I kind of get to make my own hours and I get to work when I want. I do sort of stick between a 9 to 5 schedule. And so what I do is I wake up at about 7:20 every morning, and by 7:30 I am in my basement walking. So I don't have a walking pad. I know that a lot of people recommend it. I honestly just don't see the need in my life right now because I have found a way to make it work without it. So the way that I walk, and I do basically all of my steps inside, one, because the weather in Canada is not great. It's trying to be spring, but it's kind of confused right now. And so with the weather being unpredictable, I don't really want to do my steps outside, and I just kind of prefer them inside. So when I'm doing them inside, what I do is I have created a sort of like figure 8 in my basement where I have a pole that I walk around, and then I have a table that I walk around. And it's nice because it's not broken up, because sometimes pacing back and forth, it gets broken up, and that's when I'm not sure if my like movement is like because I'm stopping and then turning around, which is why I like the way that I'm doing it in my basement. And honestly, it's just like so easy for me to incorporate it that way. But there are other ways to sort in your steps if you don't like doing that. I know that most people's biggest complaints is the fact that they get bored. I honestly don't really have that problem because the time that I would use to lay in bed and scroll on TikTok, instead I just walk around my house and scroll on TikTok. So all I've done is just adapt it to my lifestyle. And if I want to take the time to scroll in bed and brain break, I just walk around instead. And screen time is going to be this time anyway, so might as well get your steps in. Other people listen to podcasts, they watch movies. I'm also starting to learn a language and doing my steps. So there are so many ways to keep yourself entertained. And honestly, you just gotta suck it up a little bit. If you want to get your steps up, you have to put in the work for it. And so I have lost 12 pounds because I have been putting the work in for it. And I want to continue to lose more, and I'll continue to document that as well. But that is sort of the entire point. The way that I sort of break it up in my day is I try and do the majority of my steps right in the morning. So from 7:30 till about 9 o'clock, I walk. An hour and a half is roughly about 10,000 steps. It depends on your pace. It depends on other factors as well, but that is sort of the rough estimate. when I start my day and I already have 10,000 steps, the last 5,000 is so easy. It's just from walking to and from the bathroom. It's walking down to my kitchen to get a snack. It's if I'm walking to my gym. Oh, I don't walk to my gym, but if I am driving to my gym and I walk from the parking lot into my gym. So those last few steps are very easy for me to get. And I also try and make times to take a break from my computer and pace back and forth and just walk for like 10-20 minutes and break it up throughout my day. But I do like to do the majority and the bulk right in the morning. That's what works for my schedule. And I know that a lot of other people who have regular 9 to 5s, that's kind of the way that they have to do it as well to get those steps in. Trying to get at least 3,000 to 4,000 steps right in the morning is going to help your day so much. And if you can't get to 15,000 steps right away, you can work up to that and just work on moving your body more. That's what's so important about this. It's helped my sleep so much. I've been sleeping so much better. I used to like sit in bed, and as soon as I would get in bed, I'd scroll for another half an hour on my phone. And the fact that I get all of my steps done and I work and I do about 15,000 steps, as soon as I get in bed, and within 5 minutes, I'm asleep almost every night. And I love that benefit the most because I'm someone who has had a lot of insomnia in my life. And so having something so simple be able to help you sleep is just incredible. I think it's also helped my mental health. My head just feels a lot clearer. I feel less stressed out when I take these breaks to walk and move. Your body just starts to feel better. If you are walking outside, make sure you have good shoes. If not, I don't recommend walking in socks because it gets very slippery. And you don't have to be committed to just walking if you want to get your 10,000 steps a day or 15,000 steps. There are so many different exercises that you can do to increase that cardio. I know you can obviously run instead of walk. I prefer walking. I like the low energy, the low effort. It doesn't make me sweaty. So it's nice not to have to take multiple showers a day. There's also dance workouts. I know Grow with Jo is a great option. She was what started getting me into increasing my steps. Doing a 5,000 step workout with her, it helps so much with getting your steps. And then there's obviously the options of using a walking pad, pacing in your house. So there's so many ways to just be more mobile and more active in your life. And I just highly recommend doing that, not only for the weight loss benefits, but also just for the overall health benefits. So I hope that this video was helpful. I want to continue to create more fitness and weight loss content. So if you like this video, then please subscribe down below. And thank you so much for watching.